Today we are whipping up some delicious flatbread filled with feta and herb. And guess what? There is no yeast involved. It's so delicious and good. Welcome back to our simple home where I show you today the feta and herb stuffed flatbread recipe. This simple and tasty flatbread doesn't take long at all. You don't have to wait till it dries because there's no yeast in it. And the filling, the feta and the herbs, they are so good. You have to try that. I start with 150 grams of all-purpose flour for the flatbread dough. Then I add 100 grams of water, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, half a teaspoon of salt. And that's all you need for the flatbread dough. Just mix it or do it by hand, and there you have the dough ready to use. Now you can come with me into my garden. Here I cut off some oregano leaves. You can use any herbs you like, just a little bit of the ones you prefer. Here I have some oregano, just a little bit. And then, here are my flowers still blooming. I love them. They're so pretty. I'm not a professional gardener, but I'm so happy with those. I planted them from seeds and I'm so lucky that they grow so big and I can use them. Here I cut off some of the parsley, just a little bit as well. I'm enjoying my herb garden as long as I can. That's why I'm creating the feta and herb stuffed flatbread today. And this is a different variety of parsley. I use some of that as well. You can use any herbs you prefer. You can buy them in the store if you prefer. I have them in the garden, so I use them. Here I use green onion tops and anything you have in the garden or would like to use, just use it. Back inside, I washed all the herbs. Now I transfer them over to my cutting board and clean out the bowl, put it back onto the spot. And here's 100 grams of feta cheese. I cut it into little cubes or just make it very fine. I like feta so much. I like to use it in so many dishes. Do you like feta? Just comment below. What do you like to use feta for? I made a Obazda Cheese Dip video. I will link it below. It's so good too. You have to try that too if you like feta. Well, I transfer all the crumbled small feta into my clean bowl. Now I start cutting my herbs into the bowl. I have altogether, it's a very full handful of herbs altogether. So that's about how much you put in there. So I like to use my scissors for cutting the herbs into the bowl. That's my preference. I think it's easier to cut that way than cutting with a knife, but it's just me. So here I have some flat parsley leaves. I cut them just into small pieces. Here I take some of the other parsley leaves and cut them also very small. Now I take a little bit of oregano. You can see from every herb I take just a little bit. So cut it into small pieces. I didn't have dill in my garden anymore, so I took some frozen dill out of my freezer that I froze from my garden and cut it into it a little bit also. Then I take 2 cloves of garlic and peel them. I press the cloves through my garlic press and make sure I have everything nice and fine so I can combine it with the feta and the herb. We enjoy garlic very much, especially in this combination. It's so tasty and delicious. We love it. Now I add 1 tablespoon of sour cream, but you will see later on I will add another tablespoon of sour cream. It's not enough for this combination. I stir well, make sure everything is nice mixed. Here I add the 2nd tablespoon of sour cream to it. Combine everything very well. I sprinkle some flour onto my prepared countertop and then just spread it around a little bit. And then I add my flatbread dough onto it. And here it is. It's a little sticky, but I have a little bit of flour. So I cut it in half so I can make 2 flatbreads. And put one aside, and the other one I will spread it out a little bit and then roll it out so I can add the filling to it. Once I rolled out the dough into a thin circle, mine doesn't look very much like a circle, but about like a circle, I add half of the filling to it and flatten it. Make sure I don't go too close to the edges, and then I pick up the edges and then squeeze them together all in the middle and make sure everything is in there. Then I just flatten it all together. I add a little bit of flour to the flatbread so it doesn't stick to the surface while I'm doing the other filled flatbread. If you enjoyed my videos so far, please like, subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet, and share my videos with others. If you like, you leave me a comment below what else you like to put into a flatbread filling. Do you have other recipes? Share it with me. I would love to try them too. Thank you. Once I rolled out the 2nd flatbread dough, I add the filling to it. Spread it around and make sure I leave enough space from the edges. Then I pull up the edges into the middle and pinch it together, just like that, and then I flatten the flatbread again, and then it is ready to fry in the frying pan. Add a little bit of flour to it, so all good to go. So there are my 2 flatbreads. They are not big, but they're enough, like for us, one is enough for lunchtime. So now I turn on the cooktop and use my cast iron skillet. I add a good amount of oil to it. I make sure the oil is hot, and then I add my first Feta Herb Flatbread into my cast iron pan. I fry it over medium heat or maybe a little lower. I make sure it's nice and even fried. So then I turn it over and do the other side. If it's blowing up like a balloon like this, that means there is no air coming in, so I have to poke some holes into it with my fork. Once it's all done, I transfer it over onto a plate with paper towel on top of it, so it's not too oily. I like to drip it off onto the paper towel, and then I add my next feta and herb flatbread into my frying pan and turn it over once I like how brown it is. Meanwhile, I clean all my other stuff and make sure the kitchen is back clean. Here I add another plate with paper towel so I can use it for my next flatbread. Now I will cut the flatbread in half and show you the inside. I have let it cool off a little bit so it's not too hot when I touch it. Here you can see all the feta and herbs. That looks so nice and delicious to me. I cut it one more time here. I love this recipe. It is so simple and it tastes so delicious. It is so good. Look at that, the feta and the herbs, and the taste, just delicious. Well, we will go and have our lunch and enjoy that. Well, you can also use it as appetizer or something else. It's very good. Try it. It's very easy to make. Everyone can do it if I can do it. So, well, thank you so much for watching and see you in my next video. And maybe you want to watch this video next or maybe this playlist. See you there. Bye.